Well, cheers everybody. In this video, we're going to talk Superfeet. There are no affiliate links for Superfeet. You need to go to a proper professional outdoor fitter and get at least your first pair measured up correctly. I just really want to tell you my story about Superfeet and how they've helped me over the years. I'm only going to show you this pair here. They do loads of different types and colours and things like that. You need to go to a professional seller, Cotswolds, Snow and Rock, you know, places like that, you know, should be selling these things. The Gorge Outdoors in Cheddar, if you're down there, go and see Dave, say Tony sent you along. Basically, the story is, if you have foot problems, blisters, overpronation, that type of thing, or you get very, very sore feet from walking, even standing. When I started walking, so proper walking like this, it was probably around about 2001 to 2002. And I was finding that I was getting blisters, sore feet, uncomfortable feet. And I was also finding that the biggest problem that I was having was that my feet were moving in my boots. I went to Field and Trek when it was a proper Field and Trek store, not taken over by Go Outdoors now. And I had my feet measured, although interestingly, they didn't do Superfeet, but we'll come on to that in a minute. I had my feet measured and they were a size 44 European size, which is probably what, a size 10 or something like that in UK size. And I bought a pair of Scarpa SL boots, and because I felt or thought at that time that I needed a good heavyweight leather boot. It didn't take too long for my eyes to open from that one. Anyway, they sized me up for a size 44 Scarpa boot. And basically, I did several walks in them, reasonably successfully, to be honest. I must admit, it was a good boot, and I did like it as a boot for what it was. But I was still finding that I was getting blisters and that my feet were moving around, and I tried various different things. I used tongue depressors, I used thicker insoles, I used things that went under insoles. I did pretty much everything apart from Superfeet at the time. I must have been reading in TGO or one of Chris Townsend's books or something like that, and he mentioned about Superfeet, and he'd been using them, I think, for quite a while. So I went along, had my feet measured up for Superfeet, and I have to be a size E, which is applicable to my foot size as well. But the reason why you have to have your foot measured is your heel cap has to fit in this bit here, because this is the important bit here. This bit is less important because this is just soft where your foot goes. But this is the plasticky bit. This is the bit that's very important, and this is the bit that does all the work. So this is why you have to be measured professionally, or at least get it done in store so you get the right shoe size, you know, the right Superfoot size. Chances are probably reasonably high, you know, that you will come out to the corresponding foot size to letter. I can't remember if this is the carbon version. This might actually be the carbon version. They do carbon, they do plastic, but they all do the same thing. And the idea is that this part here lines up approximately and corresponds with this part around here. So when it's on your foot correctly sized, the plastic is just short of your flex point here. So in other words, the plastic bit, or in this case I think carbon fibre, is supporting from here, from about here down to here. So you've got support in the arch, you've got support around the ankle to keep the ankle in place, and then you've just got the support around here, because these are the bits, oh that's nice, these are the bits that are the most, you know, the most important for keeping your foot in the correct position. What they also do, they not only help prevent overpronation, because when you're walking you tend to get flat feet, so when you're walking your foot flattens out. In other words, the arch collapses. So when you're measuring your feet without Superfeet, your foot is probably going to be longer or a size bigger potentially than when you're wearing Superfeet. So if you get your foot measured with Superfeet and you are wearing Superfeet, you should take the Superfeet with you and get your foot measured wearing the Superfeet. That's also important, because what I discovered is when I had my feet measured professionally in around about 2002 at Field and Trek, I was a size 44. As soon as I started wearing the Superfeet, and I bought several pairs of them and I wear them in all my footwear all the time now, and I have done for 20 odd years, my foot size reduced, or maybe was its proper size, not its overpronated size. So 44 isn't my correct size, 44 is my overpronated size. And that might be that when you're not wearing something that has a proper support like this, a hard support, not these soft supports where your foot can just flatten out and still overpronate on, but something that's solid and hard like this, which holds your foot in position. Like I say, my foot size went from 44, which was its overpronated size, to its correct size of size 43. And I'm just always now, and I have been for the last 18 odd years, being able to wear size 43 shoes and Superfeet, keeping my feet in position. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Because the reason why you might be getting toe problems and other problems like that is when you're having your foot measured without Superfeet, maybe you're just not quite overpronating at that moment of measurement, and it's possible that your foot is being measured at its correct size. But when you're walking, it will overpronate. Quite likely it will overpronate, not definitely, but quite likely that it will overpronate. And when that happens and you're not wearing something like this and you're wearing your boots, that's when of course your foot is flattening down and then hitting the front of the boot or shoe. And that's why you might get sore toes, hard skin, and mind you, I do get hard skin still, but you know, that might be why you get various problems on the front of the foot. Also, by wearing something like this, it helps keep your heel in this heel cap, and if your shoes are done up properly and tight, and I've done a video on how to do laces up a year or so ago when people are laughing because I've shown you how to do your laces up, but you're probably doing your laces up incorrectly and they're coming loose and undone. But if you do your laces up properly and tightly, but not too tight, then that also will hold your foot in position, and you should, in theory, have, you know, less foot problem. You could still get problems, obviously, But you know, it should help a little bit. So if you're wearing boots that are sized to your regular feet, you might have a shoe that's too small because it hasn't been measured properly, and then when you're overpronating, your toes are hitting the end. Or you might very well be having a shoe that is measured to your overpronated foot, as I did as a size 44 a long time ago. And yes, a size 44 or a bigger size might, to a degree, help the toes not bump into the front. The problem is though, the shoe is too big or the boot is too big for you, and therefore your feet and ankles are moving up and down and flopping all over the place. Hence you're going to get blisters from friction and foot movement inside the boot or shoe, which is why I was a long time ago, like nearly 20 years ago now, I was using tongue depressors, I was using things to go under the footbed to raise that up, all because my boots were too big. Whereas if you just simply get Superfeet, have them fitted properly, obviously they've got to be cut to the size of the boot or shoe. That might very well reduce your foot size down half a size, or in my case it was a size less, 44 to 43, and like I said, all of my footwear now is 43 in Superfeet. My feet are so used to Superfeet, I just wear them all the time, you know, forever and a day, and I always will. And I've worn out 2 or 3 pairs over the time, but you know, they last a very long time. You can get different sizes and thicknesses depending on volume and things like that. I tend to go for the low volume in my outdoor things, and then maybe for home footwear I maybe go for the orange or the green. The orange or the green. The green is the standard one from memory. The orange has a bit more cushioning on the front, and then you've got like the lightweight versions like these, which I tend to wear, you know, for hiking and camping and such like. One other question or comment that comes up is, should you go from regular insoles or other insoles that you've been experimenting with like I did, you know, and should you wear Superfeet, you know, all the time immediately? Yeah, well, the recommendation is that you don't do that, but I think I did. I think I just put them in my shoes and then just took off from there, really. The only thing I would say to that probably is I probably wouldn't put them in your shoe and then go on a 20-mile walk, you know, the first time. That might be a bit too much on your foot. But I certainly think it would be more than fine to put them in your footwear and just wear them generally doing your day-to-day stuff where you're moving a bit, sitting a bit, maybe going for a walk with your dog for a mile or 2, sitting down in a cafe and having a cup of tea, or, you know, going home watching a film, standing up, doing your washing up or whatever. I think for general day-to-day use, I think it's fine to put them in your shoes and forget about it. Like I said, I just wouldn't put them in your shoe and go for a 10-mile walk in them. I think I would be putting them in your shoe and going for a 5-mile walk with them. I don't think that would hurt. But yeah, I probably wouldn't be going like mega distance straight away. But just get used to them gradually, slowly, just doing your day-to-day stuff. And once you've got used to them, chances are you might just use them forever, like I have. Like I said, I wear them all the time in all of my shoes. Only sandals if I'm wearing, you know, just summer open-toed sandals. I don't wear them in those. Other than that, I wear them in every single shoe that I have now. Either the orange, the green, the black. The black is basically the same as orange and green, just lower profile. So it's not really the same, but you know what I mean. Or this one, which I think is the carbon fibre. What I do suggest though is don't just try them for a month or 2 and then give up. I think you need to try them for 6+ months, you know, to really let them bed in and let your feet get properly used to them. I think if you start using them and you're still having problems after a month or two, I would definitely be giving them some time, especially as we're getting older. When I started wearing these 20 years ago, I was 30. Now I'm 50 odd plus. So, you know, the older we get, the more cocked up our feet get if we're not. Oh, that's a little bit of a breeze coming around there. The more cocked up our feet are going to get. So especially if you're older, I would probably be giving them 6 months to a year, you know, to bed in. But they do help. Like I said, my feet are used to them and I've worn them ever since. Anyway, no links or anything, just basic information. Sorry it's a long video. You can all bugger off now. I'll see you in the next video.